Welcome to another episode of That Childfree Guy. And for this one, we have an article from Ravishly. So, it is titled, Why Millennials Are Choosing to Be Child-Free. Of course, millennials are blamed for every fucking thing that we had nothing to do with, including Ronald Reagan's bullshit. So, just about everything economic issue can be traced pretty much back to Ronald Rest in shit Reagan. Okay, the fertility rate in the United States has hit a 30-year low, falling to 60.3 births per 1,000 women of childbearing age. For those of us concerned about overpopulation, this may not seem like overly alarming news. Unfortunately, a drop in birth rates can have dire effects on a country's infrastructure, including fewer workers, less money for social programs, and a rise in populism. Once something becomes an issue, the finger-pointing begins, and of course millennials are blamed for the decline in births. Next to immigrant, we're a favorite scapegoat for pretty much everything. This time, though, it actually is our fault, but we have some damn good reasons for choosing not to have children. 1. We're poor. Millennials are financially insecure. We graduated during the recession, thousands of dollars in debt, only to face higher levels of underemployment than previous generations. Most of us live paycheck to paycheck, just scraping by. We can't afford rent, let alone a home. Taking on the financial responsibilities of raising a child seems utterly laughable. A New York Times survey found out among millennials that did not plan to have children, 31% said they can't afford childcare, 24% said they can't afford a house, 23% said it was because they were worried about the economy, 13% said they had too much student debt, and 13% also said that they didn't have enough paid parental leave. Simply put, many millennials can't afford to be parents. Furthermore, they don't want to bring a child into a situation where they'll face a lifetime of poverty. Next one is, our health is at risk. Millennials are incredibly health conscious, and we know the effect children can have on a parent's mental and physical health. Some of us have health issues where in pregnancy could require discontinuing the use of the medications that control our symptoms. Others have mental health orders that might further be triggered by the stress of parenting. Others still fear passing on genetic disorders to children. Pregnancy, childbirth, and breastfeeding can be exceedingly uncomfortable, and for some, dangerous. Just some of the risks include urinary incontinence, perennial tears, painful intercourse, bone loss, permanent weight gain, changes in breast tissue, and abdominal separation. What's more, the rate of maternal death in the United States is ridiculously high for a developed country. The next portion is, the world is falling apart. If you've watched or read the news lately, you'll probably understand why many millennials are gravely concerned for our planet's future. The emerging consequences of climate change, as well as the ones we'll be facing down the line, are extremely distressing. The problem has yet to be properly dealt with, millennials aren't keen on bringing children into a world that may have an incredibly bleak future. Then there's overpopulation and its impact on our resources. Research shows that by 2025, 2/3 of the population will be facing a water scarcity. By 2030, things will be far more critical. 50% of the world will need more food and 30% will need more water. If governments around the world don't put their heads together and try to solve the problem of overpopulation, things will start to spiral. Less land and increased competition for resources will lead to more conflict and war. Looking toward a future that offers little more than pain and strife, it's hard to make a choice to have children when we know their lives will be so much harder than ours. And lastly, we don't want to. One of the biggest factors we choose to be child-free is personal. Some of us simply don't want kids. We may not want to choose between career and family. We'd rather focus on our relationships with our partner, friends, and family members. We're not willing to relinquish our freedom or independence. Many of us feel perfectly whole without them. Our lives are full and busy enough, and in truth, some of us have no desire to be a parent, and we're not going to subject a child to an environment where they'll be emotionally neglected. Contrary to what headlines say, millennials aren't selfish, we're self-aware. We understand the importance of choosing to do what's right for our health and our lifestyle. We know that having children is an option, not a requirement. The decision on whether or not to raise a child is a deeply personal one, and in truth, we don't owe anyone an explanation. So there you have it. I love this article. This is pretty good, and a lot of the reasons why I don't want to have a kid is because I don't want to. I just don't want to, and also it will take a sledgehammer to my independence, and I'm not having it. I will not put a child in front of my own needs because I need to. I've seen that happen so many times, and then it just ends in disaster. When you don't take care of yourself as a person, it's disastrous. I ain't doing all that. So have a great day. Talk to you soon, and enjoy. Thank you for joining me for this episode of That Child Free Guy.